Scientists have recently made a shocking discovery. Only 80% of the observable universe is visible. Hidden within the unobservable 20% of the cosmos are supermassive celestial bodies, which are actively pulling on our Milky Way. They are thousands, perhaps tens of thousands, of times larger than our galaxy, and are surprisingly close. They were previously invisible because they were concealed behind a colossal blind spot. With the continuous advancement of observational technology, celestial bodies, once hidden and unexplored in space, are gradually being unveiled by scientists. But what awaits us when our Milky Way rotates to the far side of this cosmic blind spot? Scientists are making increasingly fascinating discoveries within the so-called zone of avoidance. This galaxy-sized blind spot was first discovered purely by chance in 1786. The British astronomer William Herschel published his famous catalogue of nebulae and star clusters. Other scientists eventually noticed that the so-called spiral nebulae were scattered across most of the sky, but for some inexplicable reason, they were absent from the center and the star-rich core of the Milky Way, as well as its disk. The British astronomer Richard Proctor named this anomalous region the Zone of Nebulae. But the term didn't catch on, giving way to a more evocative name, the Zone of Avoidance. Thus, the scientific community believed that all spiral nebulae, for some unknown reason, either shunned a certain part of the sky or were utterly destroyed by some mysterious force. But the truth turned out to be far more compelling. In 1925, the legendary astronomer Edwin Hubble proved that one of the most famous spiral nebulae, the Andromeda Galaxy, was, in fact, a galaxy just like the Milky Way. Therefore, the zone of avoidance is actually the Milky Way's zone of obscuration. The concentration of interstellar gas and dust on the Milky Way's disk is so dense that it is nearly impossible for us to peer through it and glimpse our galactic neighbors in deep space. They are deliberately evading our telescopes. Although this blind spot does not appear large, it actually conceals as much as 20% of the observable universe, and astonishingly, the Milky Way itself is hurtling in this very direction. Astronomers were powerless against the Milky Way's zone of avoidance until an unexpected discovery was made. In the late 1950s, Italian astrophysicist Paolo Maffei, through improved techniques, successfully enhanced the sensitivity of standard photographic plates. His technology was so advanced that it allowed him to capture images of two massive galaxies within our Milky Way zone of avoidance. They are part of our nearest galaxy cluster, located approximately 10 million light-years away. They were even named Maffei after him. A truly rare honor. But how did the astrophysicist manage to penetrate this blind spot? Thanks to infrared light, which can pierce through the Milky Way's veil of gas and dust, though not very far. Over time, astronomers began to use other types of invisible light to penetrate the Milky Way's curtain of gas and dust, which eventually revealed a whole lost history to us. If this astonishing hidden galaxy had not fallen into our zone of avoidance, it would rival Andromeda in brightness and beauty. This is a small spiral galaxy, first discovered through radio waves, and later captured by ultrasensitive infrared telescopes. Over 20 million light-years away, this unique stellar fireworks show can only be appreciated by X-ray observatories like Chandra, with the aid of radio telescopes aimed at Australia's Parkes Observatory. We have been able to detect approximately 900 previously unseen galaxies in the zone of avoidance, millions of light-years from Earth. But all these are merely scattered pieces of a puzzle, because even revolutionary observational methods have not allowed scientists to accurately calculate the parameters of the hidden wonders, and thus construct any coherent picture of this mysterious cosmic region. But in 2022, a team of scientists led by the Argentinian astronomer Daniele Galdiano, was finally able to penetrate deep into the zone of avoidance. Using a massive amount of data from different observatories, the researchers managed to discover a colossal extragalactic structure that was previously completely hidden there. This is a gravitationally bound cluster of 9 to 58 galaxies, 2.7 billion light-years from Earth, 10 times the distance of all previous objects found in the zone of avoidance. According to astronomers, something among them is now attracting the Milky Way. But to get a good look at this giant gravitational source, scientists had to practice their observational techniques on smaller blind spots. After 30 years of research and equipment upgrades, more than 5,000 exoplanets have been discovered in the sky. We were even able to identify the most distant one, 177,000 light-years from us, thanks only to the rare effect of gravitational microlensing. But all of these are just the specters of the solar system. In our Milky Way, there may not be just a few thousand exoplanets, but more likely over 100 billion. Nevertheless, finding one on the other side of the Milky Way's disk, at least in the zone of avoidance, remains impossible. Even with all our scientific tricks. But it was recently discovered that even near the solar system, where everything seemed well studied, invisible objects are everywhere. In late 2021, scientists observed this region through the lens of the WISE infrared telescope. They were hoping to contemplate the birth of stars, which are usually hidden by dense clouds of gas and dust. But suddenly, they saw a mysterious cluster of dim objects in the Ophiuchus-Ralph-Fucus region, ranging from 70 to 170 giant planets, the size of Jupiter or larger. But why did we not notice them before? This is simply because these are rogue planets. They do not belong to any star and cannot be detected by traditional methods. Most of them were violently ejected into interstellar space by gravitational slingshots. Astronomers now believe that in addition to 10 billion ordinary exoplanets, our Milky Way must host at least another 50 billion rogue planets. If such a dark Jupiter were to fly toward Earth from the blind spot, we wouldn't notice it until it was too late, especially since invisible entities could be even larger and more perilous. In 2021, NASA's Wide Field Infrared Survey Explorer, WISE, stumbled upon something massive and incredibly fast moving. It was only 50 light-years away. This so-called brown dwarf is about 15 times the mass of Jupiter. It is a failed star without enough mass to initiate thermonuclear fusion. Thus, the object was nicknamed the Accident. It is hurtling through space at a record-breaking speed of over 700,000 kilometers per hour, 20 times the speed of a bullet. Why this is remains a mystery. But the discovery of the accident itself suggests that we are only just beginning to uncover the entire invisible realm surrounding the solar system. According to preliminary estimates, as many as 10 billion brown dwarfs, which are invisible to ordinary telescopes, may be hidden in the Milky Way. Fortunately, our new James Webb Infrared Telescope, with its gigantic mirror and ultrasensitive detectors, is certainly capable of illuminating many blind spots in space. But scientists are often confounded by the very nature of these invisible objects. In recent years, astronomers have encountered more and more exotic objects in the blind spots of space. They force scientists to question all our scientific knowledge. These terrifying yet fascinating discoveries were made possible by the same Wide Field Infrared Survey Explorer, WISE. In fact, it is an entire infrared observatory. If scientists use James Webb as a narrow-field telescope, then with the help of WISE, they scan the entire sky in just 6 months. This massive data array has yet to be fully explored. It wasn't until 10 years later that astronomers suddenly detected an unusual object in the WISE images, millions of light-years from Earth. There was a blind spot in visible light. A bright bubble of gas appeared in the infrared. Clearly, some kind of star was hidden inside. But when scientists calculated its parameters, they couldn't believe their eyes. Unlike most sun-like stars, this strange compact star does not use hydrogen and helium as fuel. At the same time, it emits 4,000 times more light, creating a powerful stellar wind. Traveling at 16,000 kilometers per second. This is 40 times that of our Sun. An absolute record for space. But a star with these characteristics should be a clearly visible blue giant, not a shy, invisible entity hiding behind a gas curtain. Scientists were baffled until they developed a very exotic model for the object's origin. Initially, there were two stars here. They were tiny white dwarfs, the remnants of sun-like stars after they burn out. But a few thousand years ago, they collided, forming an exotic type of star, rarely found in the universe. Unlike hydrogen and helium, it burns heavy elements, like carbon. Red giants usually do this. But as you recall, this star, formed by the collision of white dwarfs, is very compact. This is why it glows so fiercely, while maintaining the ability to hide in the gas cloud. Astronomers believe we are incredibly lucky. In a few thousand years, the star's carbon fuel will be exhausted, and a powerful supernova explosion will blow away the gas curtain. This invisible object will truly disappear. But sometimes, stars vanish for no reason, creating literal blind spots in space.